AAEF ABC 23 and KBVU Fox 28. Get the facts right.
This is Rollin in the Morning Show.
6:37. Want to welcome to the program formerly from ABC, Good Morning America, also from Sacramento area. Joan Lunden, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm right out there in your territory.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're almost like a hometown girl, give or take a couple-hour drive. Did you ever make it, when you grew up down in that area, did you ever make it up to the Redwood Coast, Humboldt Bay area?
Absolutely. And, interestingly, when I started, keeping a journal during cancer, and by the way, I started keeping a journal, like, from day one, I just opened up a blank document. You know how it is when you open up a blank document,
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to say? And I wrote at the top, I will survive.
Awesome.
That's how I started it out. And in the beginning, it was just like doctor notes, and then I started kind of doing that little walk down memory lane and thinking about growing up in Sacramento with my dad, who was a cancer surgeon. Like the essence of my house growing up as a child was all about the fight against cancer.
That's interesting. Yeah, that comes around because it was a year ago, roughly. I think just a year ago that you were on the cover of People magazine with your shaved head and letting everybody know that you had breast cancer.
Well, I think about 10 days after my diagnosis, I walked into a salon. I couldn't have walked into my own salon. I would have been, I guess, too embarrassed, and I think they would have maybe talked me out of it. I walked into a salon I'd never been to, and I just asked this guy, big, tall guy, Juan, just said, I said, will you shave my head? And he said, yep, come on over. He sat me down, and he, put that buzzer, the clipper, at the back of my head and started going up and over. That's a sound that no woman ever hears.
Did you do that prior to losing your hair because you knew it was coming?
Yes, and quite honestly, it was on the advice of Robin Roberts. She said, you're going to lose your hair, just the doctors have told you you're going to lose it, within 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, it's so depressing when it starts coming out in clumps. She said, I recommend that you just shave it off. So I did. And that way, I did it. The cancer didn't do it. I did it.
You had some kind of control over something you have no control over then.
Yeah.
Interesting. When did you first get diagnosed with the breast cancer?
June 5th. Not this last June 5th, the June 5th before. And, I got to be honest with you. I didn't think I could get breast cancer because I didn't have it in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Had I known, there's a lot of had I knowns, had I known that only less than 15% of women diagnosed with breast cancer actually have a family history, I wouldn't have felt so immune. And I would have probably would have made a lot of different decisions in my life. And I wanted to really be honest in the book, and I made a lot of choices that could very well have increased my risk of getting breast cancer. Had I known that it didn't make any difference if I had, breast cancer in my family, maybe I wouldn't have taken HRT. Maybe I would have been a little more careful about my diet. The American food system is like jet fuel to cancer cells. There's got to be a reason why there's just so many more women presenting with breast cancer.
The book that you have out is called Had I Known, a Memoir of Survival. And do you talk about that, some of the things that could give people some guidance or some insight of what you feel is the causes?
I rant. There's so many things had I known, that I would have done differently. And I don't think it's just me. In fact, I'm the person who interviews all the experts. And I didn't realize a lot of these things. And so I wanted to pass on all the information. I also wanted to pass along the attitude, the expectation to win. That's so important because when you hear those words, you have cancer, I think it's that leftover ominous, the big C,
right.
From like 20 years ago whenever you heard those words, you're dead, you're a goner. Well, we live in a very different world. We live in a world where there's amazing treatments. Now, there's also sometimes, 5 different kinds you can take, and it's very confusing to try to figure out what's really going to kill it, what's going to give me my best chances of not having a recurrence. It's complicated. And that's why I wanted to share it I mean, not in the book. I mean, I got to tell you, this disease, I mean, I've knocked it. I'm what they call NED, no evidence of disease. I survived it, but there's always the chance of recurrence, and I know that. But it changed my whole life in that I decided to become part of the fight against breast cancer.
Let me ask you real quick, because I know you got to move on to some other interviews. Let me ask you real quick, what do you do different today that a year and a half ago when you had no clue that this was going to be in your system? What do you do different today in your day-to-day life that has changed?
Oh, my God, everything. I mean, besides the fact that I'm on a no sugar, no wheat, no dairy diet, I mean, I really cleaned up what I eat, and I look at every label, and if I don't know any of the ingredients, they're all chemicals, I don't eat it. I mean, from that all the way over to the fact that I started an online TV channel for breast cancer, Alive with Joan. So I'm sitting in front of a camera in my own house. That's changed so much. I don't have to go into a studio with hair and makeup and lights. In my own house, I can have this camera, and we're uploading. I'm talking to experts all day long, and I'm answering women's questions on this community. I would never imagined a year ago that would be part of my life today.
All right, Joan Lunden, Had I Known, a Memoir of Survival. I appreciate you taking time to share your success in life here this morning. And you get up this site, because I understand you're in Connecticut. Get back to the West Coast, come around Humboldt County. Let's get out and talk a little bit. Enjoy the day, and thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, Joan. Bye-bye.